Okay, well, it's hard to see this.
Today's issue: water leaking out of this keg cooler. Same as all coolers, the only place that comes from is the evaporator. So never worked on one of these. Guess it's time to get in there and find out what the heck's going on. Alright, first thing I'm gonna do is suck all this water out of here. And there is the drain fitting for that. And there's the water dripping out of the back of that. You can see that. So obviously the drain's not working. Probably just try to suck it out and maybe that'll clear it up. Maybe simple enough. Alright. Alright, get this beat up back piece off of here. Got one screw up underneath there that pulls out. That gets popped up. It's on a couple little slotted dealies. Looking in here, of course, it's completely nasty. I discovered this. There's the drain line. This is laying on the ground. I'm thinking that's a problem. It should probably be in a pan or something, or supposed to be in a drain hole in the floor. So let's get in here and clean some of this crap up. That's nasty. And see what we can figure out with that. I'll have to suck that hose there, make sure it's clear too. Alright. Okay, so that bowl has to come out to get that cover plate off. And there's another one on the other side up in here. Pull those. You can't pull this out, but you can move it over so you can get it to coil. And I use my fancy, check this out, wooden handled screwdriver. It says switch go. I'm not sure this is actually for teeth, but then you can get up here and brush all the crap using your handy dandy little shop vac and clean up the motor. I'm gonna rake on them blades. That is some pitch, man. Get here and clean everything and perform some what should be routine maintenance on this machine, which hasn't been done apparently, maybe ever. Alright, so we'll put that bolt back in there, put this back over here, and investigate that drain line deal. Oh look, there's the pan under there, and the hose just isn't in it. Oh, that could be an issue. Okay, don't understand everything you know about this, but there's a hole at the very back of that tray. It goes in back there, but there's really no good way to get in there. So I have taken the hose right there, pushed it up under here, back into the back of there, and now it's laying in the out here in the tray. So let's get that in there. That's in the tray. You can clean this up. It was wet up in there in the corner. Let's see what happens. I've pulled that little screen. It was loose just to take a look, and the evaporator looks nice and clean. So now that hole confirmed that I've sucked it completely through, we're going to put it back together and see how it goes. Let's check on it tomorrow and see how it's doing. If it's still leaking all over the place, then we have some other kind of issue where the water's not getting into the drain. So, alright, I'm going to straighten out this back panel and it should be good. Okay, so how are we the morning after? I'd say no bueno. Still leaking. Oh yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's terrible. Dripping down from the back. Okay, so we got to get in here and find where the knob went. But obviously it's not draining where it belongs. Got to go farther in. Alright, here we are again. Suck the water out of this thing. And I can see, you can see right there where the water's coming from, dripping out of there instead of going down the drain. So we got to get up in there and find out what the deal is. That means you got to take this cover off. I think it's just a matter of pulling the screws on the outside. I hope so. I'm going to pull. I may not even have to pull that. Well, let's see what happens. Let's shank some screws and see. Okay, we got 4 screws on either side. Then you got to get it off that drain tube in the back, because this one's all really stiff, so be careful, try not to break that fitting. But right off the top of my head, I don't see anything there. Even if it's, see, that's ice. Even if this thing's freezing up and thawing out, all the water should go down the drain here. And you can see there's a trough in there where it should just be running down the trough. Now it's kind of nasty and rough. Unless, of course, there's holes in that I can't see. Well, let's see how difficult it is to get that panel out of here and have us a look. Maybe we can seal it up or something. Alright, just some updates on removal. This is the 4 screws in the corners. These two screws on either side of there hold the fan bracket on. They have plain nuts with lock washers on them. Actually, the lock washers are integral to the nuts. These two, same with that. That one's a sheet metal screw which holds a part of a spring that holds that little air duct, which I have no idea what the heck that's for. Maybe just been a conduit, but it doesn't appear to be used on our machine. This is a ground wire, green end wire. It had a nice rusty screw with a nut, so that had to be put a, I think it's a 3/8 wrench on the back of that, and start to loosen it up. When it gets real tight, turn it back the other way, keep working it back and forth to get it off, break up the rust and get that off of there. Luckily the screw head wasn't screwed up because nobody's been in here. So I'm gonna think I can see it right now. I have the answer. Sometimes the most obvious answer you don't even think about. But here's the obvious answer. As you can see, look at that. There's holes in there. So simple solution to this, we'll clean this up. I was just going to take it out, clean it up, paint it. Of course I would have found it then. I'm going to sand all this thing and I'm going to find out that I can see more holes. This thing is riddled with holes. So I'll be patching this up. Well, probably just JB welding it is what I'll end up doing. And that'll seal up. Unless we got some JB Marine weld or some 5200. 5200 would do it, but I don't know if I can shut this cooler down for 24 hours. You know what? I just might do that. I think they could live without that particular keg. Wow, this thing's got... Okay, there's the answer. No problem. I'll take care of this thing. Okay, all I did was blow it out there so far, and this is hideous. Nothing like something that shouldn't have been taken care of. I'm just going to say years ago. That's hideous. This thing's been leaking for a long time. Okay, well, we're going to take care of it now. Okay, using plastic abrasive wheel thingy, some sandpaper, a brass wire brush. This is the final result. Swiss cheese. That's okay. The corners are cleared out too. The sealant went on those, so I'm going to seal this whole thing up. I haven't figured it out yet, but let me go see what I got. Either some JB Weld or some 5200 fast cure if we have it. Alright, let's go find out. It'll take care of this. Okay, and since this side's probably fitting too, I'm just going to do the whole thing. I've got some fast cure 5200. Fast cure is relative. It's still going to take 24 hours. The regular stuff takes a lot longer. And you can see a really good example of the holes. I'm gonna try to go over and smooth that out too on the bottom side, and of course all the seams at the ends, inside and out. Stuff's really sticky when you get on it. I'm gonna put this somewhere safe for a day, put it back together tomorrow morning, and this will never leak ever again. And outlives the cooler, no question. Oh, and just to whine about something, this is the first tube of sealant I was saying, and the regular 5200 is the same way. It doesn't have the little opener point thing in the cap, which is, I find very strange, because usually there's a little pointy job in there you can stick in the end to open up the little metal seal, but I had to do it manually. Makes you wonder. Oh, I'm out of focus. Okay, so at the end of the day, I've had it out in the sun, and it's can't tell, there we go. It's a little sticky, but it's pretty much dry to the touch. By the morning, it'll be 22 hours or something, it'll be fine. Reinstall that. I went ahead on the bottom, went ahead and primed and painted it. Nice shiny white. The only paint I use, the 15-ounce cans of 15-ounce cans of Rust-Oleum heavy duty. It used to be called hard hat, big cans, industrial paint. Fantastic, quick drying. Paint it right after you prime it. This thing will now outlast the rest of the cooler by 10 years. Alright, in the morning we put it back in. Okay, here we have the finished product. Getting ready to put it back in. Nice and dry. Nice and white. It's mighty white. I do believe there's going to be any leaks in there anymore, so it's going to end up in there like so. Got to put it up in here. Manipulate it around like that. Little sheet metal screws. The 2 screws for the fan support are number 10s with a 3/8 inch wrench for those nuts. Same with the what? Same with the ground wire on this side. Number 10 nut with a built-in lock washer, and we're gonna flip it around up in there and put it up in there. Yeah, I'll show you halfway through. Okay, here's our completed installed piece. No one will be the wiser, except that it won't leak anymore. Nice and pretty, like it was supposed to be. Alright, drain's hooked up to the drain. The screws are back in it. I've checked the fan when I put it back in, make sure it runs. I actually even put the little thingies back in the corner, the holes there. So we're gonna put this back in there, fire it up, put our thermometer in there, and it works fine. So it's just a matter of keeping the water out of it. I think we'll check on that in the morning and we'll see how we did. And here we are, the next morning, the moment of truth. No light, of course. Look at that. Yeah, hey, 30 degrees. Dry as a bone. Alright. Take that one off the list. It's only been leaking for a few years. Alright, good to go. Next.